They just told me to walk like a zombie. Because at that point, zombies I don't think were as popular. So the only thing they had to go with was Dawn of the Dead. I mean, I'm sorry, Night of the Living Dead. And then the other movie George Romero did before that was The Crazies. So he really wasn't back into zombie full swing yet.
Oh, man. And then Savini just puts some layers on that guy's head, and then he had a production assistant run with the fish line to pull that guy's head off. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it works. Works beautifully.
All right, so I think one of the happiest moments for me is the director in this movie.
So after the 37-minute thing gets done, we learn this guy makes things fast, cheap, and decent. He's just a nice dude. He kind of gets walked over a little bit, but he's a really nice guy. I love when he just goes full director and becomes the biggest jerk. Like he started yelling at one of the actresses. Then he started slapping around the actor, saying, "All this rehearsal, you've been a punk." Because in the rehearsal, the guy was going to walk away. Yeah. They told him he was too nice. The actress told him he was too nice. So he
immediately wants to establish right off the bat, like, look, guys, I'm not going to take this anymore. He's like, you've been back talking since day one.
He starts shaking him and throwing him around.
Later on, when that kid gets slapped in the face by the
mom bopped him.
She said in an interview she really did have to hit him, like really hit him, and he actually had to go to the dentist.
Yeah, she bopped him.
The tooth pain that she caused.
She hit him hard.
Yeah, she whapped him good.
That was a full hand slap.
Yeah, it was no joke.
I think she had some of the bone from her palm. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she hit him like good.
You know when you get slapped and you're like, oh, like you kind of rub your cheek? Like,
yeah. She really cracked him good.
I love that slap. I want to watch this movie again.
Yeah, I feel like watching it again after this. The director said in an interview during the Tokyo International Film Festival that he doesn't really plan on making a sequel, which I don't know if you could make a sequel to this, if it would be any good. I mean, I don't think you really would be able to do that. But he said that if they could do a sequel, he wouldn't be opposed to it. He just would prefer to it to be the budget as it was for this one. Because that way there's more creative control for him. So he feels like most people feel when the bigger the budget, the less control that you actually have.
It'd be interesting to see so this director, right, this is a success. And then they say, we want you to make another one with a much larger budget. They could still keep the budget low.
Yeah, they could do
on the production, but it's just bigger budgeted.
You mean like 100,000 as opposed to 25?
It's like 75,000.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, two-thirds, a lot more, yeah.
You spend more of that on water.
Triple the budget. Or double the budget. Triple the budget. So $75,000. But that'd be interesting how they know they're coming back, not for an organic way. So they're trying to topple that. Like, we don't need to make one. We already made a great one, but now we need to do it. That could be funny to say, why are we doing this? And have them overcome it.
Almost like to have the One Cut of the Dead already existing in the universe of the remake of the One Cut of the Dead. Be like, why are we making this movie again?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I'd watch that.
I mean, it'd just be fun to kind of see them with a bigger budget. And you like this crew. But I don't know. The thing is, when something like this happens, I feel like it's very organic. Paranormal Activity or just a very low budget little horror films.
low budget. It hits and misses. A lot of times it misses because the filmmakers just don't know what, and they just throw in a couple of shots here, a couple of shots there, and then pad it with something loud. Good example, that would be the Slender Man.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, they had a lot of good stuff going behind that. They had Doug Jones and playing the Slender Man. You had the people who originally wrote the Marble Hornets. Totally terrible movie.
Bad.
Wow, was it ever terrible.
This could be interesting. You know how Evil Dead 2 is essentially a reboot quote?
Oh, no, it's a totally remake.
Yeah, you could have, they just did it with a bigger budget. They didn't have to film in an actual cabin. Yeah. They used sound stages for Evil Dead 2. That'd be funny to see them handle more budget. Does that make, they still had a lot of freedom, Sam Raimi, for Evil Dead 2.
Yeah. If they could have a bigger budget for this movie, I think they could probably do a pretty cooler version, maybe like more like cooler special effects, but that, yeah.
Not make an hour and a half one cut.
No, that'd be terrible.
Make it 37-minute, but with a larger budget.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing if they do an American remake, but
I don't want them to, man.
I wouldn't want to either. But I did read that was a possibility, and I think the director I saw on IMDb. Take it as you may. They said One Cut of the Dead comes to Hollywood. The director was behind that.
I mean, that'd be funny.
Don't know how that would work, but who knows? But this movie is very well received by audiences as well. Right now, it stands at 7.7 on IMDb, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but that's with 72 reviewers.
That's respectable, though.
That's pretty hard to beat.
I have a hard time promoting when it's like, oh, this movie has a 98% from 12 critics.
Yeah.
72
people saying that they're all 100%.
Yeah.
85 meta, 83 with the audience.
85 meta.
Yeah.
That's good.
And this is a great film.
Yeah.
To go all around.
And I guess when I think about remakes, I really like the Fright Night remake. We've covered that on the podcast. Because
I have to watch that again. I don't know, man.
They moved to Vegas, and you have that population who's up at night. You have a big commuter population. You have a housing thing that wasn't really doing well during the time because of the housing crash. So you had people coming and going and mortgages. So that you were able to make sense of that a little bit because Vegas is never sleeps. So it makes sense.
I've shot there.
It makes sense. Oh yeah, American
Ninja Warrior was there for like 2.5 weeks. Oof.
It makes sense to put it there. Or other remakes like the new Child's Play.
I didn't see that.
So I'm not giving anything away. Can I tell you who Chucky is in this one? They tell you in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So in the first 3 minutes, it's an AI doll. It's like an Alexa, but a doll, and you could use it for everything. And what happens is this guy in India, I believe, or Vietnam, is overworked. So he plugs in this code that's really messed up that takes out the safety procedures, and then that doll gets shipped. So then it's like an AI type thing, not a possessed doll.
This person purposely makes a killer doll.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
But I like it because they weren't just going, oh, another possessed doll. And when you watch it, it works. Like, I was really skeptical about it until John Levengood, the Movies, Films, and Flicks writer and co-host, mentioned it. But it doesn't... I like how it does a little something different. Like, it's not...
I applaud that fact that it is different. It's the same thing I feel about a lot of movies that, like...
That's stupid.
Well, it is. It's a stupid idea.
I love it.
It's different. I'll give it that. But it's like, I just think that's really dumb. I just don't think they should have remade Child's Play. I think they should have just left it as a TV series.
There's some gnarly kills in it.
I'm fun. Sure, yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. I would hope so. I want to see it eventually, but I'll get around to it.
I think you might like it. Or you'll call it stupid.
Probably.
Throw it out the window.
I didn't like the last like 3 Child's Play.
Oh goodness.
I didn't like Seed of Chucky. I didn't like Cult of Chucky. I was almost
Cheese of Chucky.
Chuck Finley of Chucky.
Whoa.
See?
Bride of Chuck Finley, Chucky.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell doing the voice. Bruce Campbell voicing. Whoa. I could see Bruce Campbell directing something like this.
Chuck Finley of Chuck.
Because he's always trying to make these gaggy movies. Like, My Name is Bruce.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah,
that
and so he's trying to make these gaggy type flicks.
Was it the man with the killer brain or something
that
like
one.
that? The man whose brain ate himself or something?
I love his autobiographies, too.
Oh, yeah.
No, any final thoughts, though, about this movie? I know there's more to cover, but anything else that you really want to talk about on this?
I liked how it was originally a stage play, Ghost in the Box, as we already discussed. And the original title of this was Don't Stop the Camera, which I'm glad they changed.
Action!
Yeah. It's beautiful how every one of these people that were involved in this were all unknowns, except for, like I said, the cinematographer is probably the one is arguably the one who's done the most. The producer did a lot as well, but all of these people involved were all part of this EBNU seminar. And they just wanted to make a movie, and then they were just going to use this as grounds of, look, we can make this movie.
I would hire them.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they could obviously do more movies. I love how the director has been popping up like randomly. Like I said, they caught him during that interview that you can read online with the Hollywood Reporter, was when he was going to see the premiere of A Star is Born. It's just like, it's so funny.
Screw A Star is Born. Let's talk to him.
That's exactly what it was. They were just like, hey, that's the guy that did One Cut of the Dead. Yeah. The director has the best personality, I would say, out of all of them. I've watched a few of the interviews. The director is very open about talking about this movie.
Right.
So he's really cool. He encourages more people to talk about the movie, obviously. And he's like, he thought that the movie would be a minor hit. He had no plans on it actually being a big success. As we discussed, the original target was 5,000 tickets. They already made that. And he was like, well, it'd be cool if we do 10,000. Then did 2 million. He's like, well, okay. He said that he thought that the movie had taken off after he was walking down the street and he saw someone wearing a shirt that said One Cut of the Dead.
Nice.
And he was like, hey, thanks. That's my movie. And they're like, oh my gosh, really?
And then they had the big screen in Italy.
Yeah.
That they got a 5-minute standing ovation for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's sort of so cool.
This is the little movie that could. I think it's a lot of fun. Oh, any All right, so we got that. Any Chris Kelly recommendations for us before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just have one recommendation. I don't know if I could really recommend anything that's similar to this, but then again, like I said before, my recommendations are more like a complimentary to this film. The only thing I could really come up with was Diary of the Dead that came out in 2007, the George Romero film, which was a zombie apocalypse happens. Camera crew is recording all this. They're all student filmmakers. It happens while they're recording. I forget the name of the movie, but it starts out with what looks like a mummy movie, and then the zombie apocalypse happens. So the zombie apocalypse happens while these student filmmakers are filming their movie. The footage that's used is supposed to be made of a movie that's from the guy's girlfriend. She refers to it as the death of death. And she adds effects to it. So it's very much like you're watching a movie. It's pretty cool. I've always enjoyed this film. I've seen it many, many, many times. It was the very first of George Romero's DVD release, straight to DVD films. During
Survival of the Dead. Survival of the Action.
Yeah, it was the Diary of the Dead was the original start of George Romero's version of Night of the Living Dead TV series. He abandoned that, though, to make this movie, and then I guess Survival of the Dead, and then he died. But that's the only movie I could recommend that goes along with One Cut of the Dead.
So we talked about all the Romero. We did an overall Romero pod, probably in our first 50 episodes. And I don't know if you listened to it, but
It's been a minute since I listened to it.
When I was talking about Diary of the Dead, the one I like it, and I had a great time watching it. I think I watched it in Korea. But when I was watching it, I noticed the narrator, her narration's just...
Yeah,
So
very...
You're in the zombie movie, and there's where this life is gone, and there's a zombie. I don't know where we are. And we're going to do this thing here. I'm eating a cake, Palm. What is this world becoming to us? Oh, I don't know what's happening. There's zombies, and there's... Oh, man, I need soft water, Palm. It's just, I'm just going on to these things, and it's just going to happen.
But other than that, I really like it.
She's very flat.
Yeah.
I'll say that. The acting is overacted, but then again, that's how it was.
But I like the idea of it. I dug
it was a great idea. And it was kind of how George Romero wanted to take the Living Dead series, which was the zombie apocalypse happens, and he wanted to do them, I believe it was every 10 years. And then he wanted to have a new approach to it. So you have 1968, the zombie apocalypse happens. Then 1978 would have been the zombie apocalypse happens. So it was like how we've changed so much in 10 years, and then doing the same exact storyline to reflect upon that. So that was the start of it. And then
I'm happy that George Romero got the work to make Survival of the Dead. I just wish it didn't exist.
I mean, that movie was just terrible.
Bad.
I really didn't enjoy it at all.
It's not a movie.
It's just boring.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes that don't go together. I mean, I remember when I saw it, I saw it streaming and I watched it. It was just I couldn't focus with it. I just couldn't get it. It was like, okay, so now it's like his daughter has her permanently riding on horseback. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't get it. I didn't really understand that. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just my mindset, but I didn't like it at all. Then it's like the Hatfields and McCoys type of situation. Just
Palm.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm happy.
Action!
I'm happy you got the work.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But no, dude, I'm so happy you suggested to me. This really is my favorite movie of 2019.
It's great. And then also, if anybody wants to watch this movie, it is streaming on Shudder, and you can also rent it at Videodrome.
Videodrome.
My boys at Videodrome, man, they're
my
great.
Guys.
They're cool, man. I always go in there. They're always like, "Hey, what's up?"
Nice.
They're nice.
So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Chris Mad Dog Kelly, we're Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll palm you next week.